Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism. And welcome also back to this What Is and What Is Not series. It's a means of not only bringing the point home on clarifying some of these things, these concepts, glossary terms as it were, but also differentiating them from things that people aren't always clear what these are. And before I go forward, I'm always going to remind you, I do have my healing program, and this is a great month to sign up. 25% off on your first month if you sign up before the end of September, and you have to use the discount code to register. Go to all of that if you're interested in the video notes. So let's talk about what is and what is not baiting. So this series again is designed to get at sort of what is and what isn't, so you really get what it is. Baiting. So I was watching Succession last night. My God, it's like the altar of narcissism shows, right? It's the best. Every character in the show is narcissistic, which is fun, but it's not. So because everyone's narcissistic, now I'm trying to figure out what kind each one is. In this scene, two of the brothers were going at each other. One is a more malignant, cruel narcissist. The other one more vulnerable and broken. The vulnerable and broken one appears to be trying to be a bit gray rock, giving one-word answers and even just going along with the malignant brother. But then the malignant brother just says, "Come on, fight with me. Get mad." It's as though the malignant brother couldn't release the tension until the brother, who he kept taunting and insulting and bullying, finally broke and showed a little emotion and fight, largely because it appeared that the malignant brother wanted to destroy him. So that was one of the best examples I'd ever seen of baiting, was that scene in Succession. So baiting is how they pull you in, how they draw you into conflict. Narcissistic folks love the fight. They thrive under conditions of antagonism. So when you are trying to gray rock or disengage, they aren't having it. They need you to be messy and chaotic. So not only can they get the satisfaction of the fight, but also so you get so frothed up that they can contemptuously write you off as being unhinged and shame your feelings. Calm down. You are too sensitive. You are out of control. The challenge is that if you don't take the bait, they escalate and escalate to the point that they are saying such cruel and awful things that you have to weigh out what is worse, getting into the fight with them or standing there while a person says awful things to you and not take the bait. I'm not sure what the answer is. And that's what baiting is. It's what makes these narcissistic relationships feel impossible. Because just when you think you have gray rocking and not going deep wired, they bait and bait and bait, and you may react, and then you feel remorse after not reacting for so long. Be kind to yourself. It's only human to react and take the bait, and that's what the whole setup is. So that's what baiting is. The bigger question is, what isn't baiting? Number one, it isn't just a person asking a question or making a simple request, maybe that you don't want to do. So if a person asks a question, is your sister coming? Do we have to pick them up from the airport? Or can you not post that picture? Those kinds of things. The simple request, it's a question, is your sister coming? Do we have to pick that person up at the airport? That's a question, that's a request. Now, the question or the request may not be something you want to talk about, like, for example, they don't like your sister. But if it fits into the conversation, it may not be baiting. Number two, baiting is not having a different opinion from you. If they say, I like such and such candidate in the election and tell you why, and with a normal, non-taunting tone of voice and without disparaging your preference, that's not baiting. Now, if you tell them specifically, I don't want anyone to talk about politics at my birthday party, and they bring up the candidate conversation, that may be baiting. But even beyond politics, if they say, I don't like this restaurant, or I don't think that's a mechanically good car, then that may not be baiting. If, however, this is bringing up a long-running conflict, perhaps about a certain restaurant, and then they drop the restaurant bomb, then that may be more in line with baiting. You can see it's a little bit hazy. But just a normal difference of opinion that's shared in an appropriate manner, not baiting. Number three, A person is just living their lives. Maybe a friend goes to a birthday party or of a person you don't like. So your friend's going to a birthday party of a person that you don't like. Or they plan a trip that coincides with your birthday because that's when their vacation time fell. Or a person goes to the grocery store without consulting you first. That's probably not baiting. You may be hurt or frustrated that they remained friends with that other person who might have been hurtful to you, or that they may miss your birthday dinner, which they didn't know about because they got their vacation time a while ago, or that they don't bring home the eggs you wanted. But if they're not doing that, if they're not doing them and not in response to something you did, that's not baiting, even if you don't like what they are doing. Number 4, a person giving solicited feedback is not baiting. If you ask someone, do you like this? Or can you let me know if this is a good idea? Or what are your thoughts about this? And they answer you honestly and constructively, it may not be baiting. Now, if they are forwarding their own agenda and not being honest about it, like, are you sure you are ready for that job? It means more time spent traveling and they don't want you to travel, then that may be baiting because they may want to draw you into a conflict and they aren't being transparent about their criticism or their undermining. Now, if they came out straight and say, ugh, that actually seems like a great job, but the travel concerns me, then that is not baiting because they are giving you feedback and being transparent about their concerns. So it's, again, about that transparency piece. A lot of the things that are not baiting are a little bit hazy because they can become baiting depending on the context. If their behavior or words are reactive or inappropriate to the situation, then that question or that opinion or that feedback may qualify as baiting. If it feels like it pings on a standing conflict, while the words themselves may feel neutral, it may be baiting. Baiting can take so many forms: behavior, sins of omission, taunts, jabs, mockery, jokes at your expense, insults or criticism of things that or people that matter to you, passive-aggressive sulking. As a result, there are lots of things it is. Ultimately, baiting is a dominance move for them. Sometimes it's a victimhood move. And ultimately, though, as a dominance move, people who are narcissistic are always seeking dominance. However, what can happen is that the baiting is such a regular fixture of these relationships that when someone comes along and engages in behavior that may not feel good, we may be tempted to call it baiting. Always remember, the goal of baiting is to draw you into a conflict, a defensive posture, or a reaction. If that is not what is driving a person's behavior, then it's not baiting. Unfortunately, however, you're not always privy, in fact, you're typically not privy to other people's motivations. Baiting sucks because it is meanness and gaslighting all wrapped into one. But it definitely allows the narcissistic person and others to maintain the narrative that you, as the other person in the relationship, may be the one who is emotionally reactive and dysregulated simply because you are reacting to them. When enough baiting occurs, more than a few people feel that the only path forward is disengagement and even no contact. And that can be a painful recognition. Keep in mind, too, a sentence that may be completely neutral can be turned into a bait sentence simply by tone of voice. Are you going to the store? Ugh, are you going to the store? So you can see that just that are you going to the store can be are you going to the store? Question, or are you going to the store? Contempt. So in that, understanding how tone can even take those points I made and transform something into baiting, something I'm aware of. And because it's so hazy, a lot of people aren't always so sure, but I will tell you this, if you feel like you need to defend and get in there, most likely it's baiting. Hope that clears it up. Thanks again.